welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week, another edition of the LiuLi Cup. LiuLi Cup number 34, day number 1. I'm, of course, your ZvP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to something special here. Welcome to the first edition of the year of 2025 of the LiuLi Cup. Of course, we have the LiuLi Cup Grand Finals. That was to wrap up the year of 2024, but now we are here with the first edition of 2025. Here we go. Welcome to an Invitational, a 2-day event here. A big shout out to Saber, big shout out to those working behind the scenes for LiuLi Cup, and we are here to bring you this amazing Invitational. Let's go. When it comes to the event itself, !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back at yourselves. Let's switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket itself. Let's go. Let's catch up on the bracket. From the top here, we have A players. A players have been invited. We have 8 top Koreans. They're going to be duking it out here in this tournament, and these are all best of 3s. The quarterfinals here, the first round is going to be best of 3s. We have best of 5s here for the semis and a best of 7 grand finals as well. So again, a nice short and sweet event here with 8 players, but again, it is a 2-day event. Day 1 is the quarterfinals. Day 2 is going to be the semis and the grand finals thereafter. Here we go. As you saw, we have a Solar versus Zoun, Gumiho versus Classic, Shin versus Cure, and Byun versus Rogue. And we have our first series ready for you here, our first best of 3 between Solar and Zoun. Let's go. Let us go. It looks like we have our first lobby here. We're going to be loading into Abyssal Reef. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss player from South Korea, the ex-military Protoss. It is Zoun. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat as we are jumping into our fresh best of 3. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. And again, it's been a whole minute. It's been a while since we have been able to embrace a map like Abyssal Reef. A lot of our tournaments recently have been avoiding maps like Abyssal Reef, Neon Violet Square, and King's Cove, but not here, not on LiuLi Cup. So we're able to go under the sea once again. When it comes to the map itself, it is a very large map, one of the largest maps in the map pool, so long rush distance by ground, very defendable on 2-3 bases. I do favor Zoun, or typically I favor the defending player here coming into Abyssal Reef. We'll see if Solar can break him. We've been casting quite a bit of Solar as of late, and he has been very aggressive in this matchup. We've seen a lot of all-ins. We've seen a lot of all-ins, a lot of aggressive play here from Solar in the ZvP matchup, typically cutting workers at 3 base saturation and then committing, but here on Abyssal Reef, cutting workers early on can be very difficult to pull off, and as a result, I expect to see a longer game here on Abyssal Reef. Oh boy. I do expect a longer game. Meanwhile, for those that are now tuning in, a big shout out to, I see Ariel in the chat, I see Kamikaze as well. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Shema, papi. I see Wormshik, I see Psycons as well. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Good to see you all. Hope you're all doing well for yourself. Setsuna, of course, Setsuna as well in the chat. Bienvenidos. As we are going to be settling in. Did see some people being excited about the additional Zerg players here. True. Rogue is a rarity nowadays. Rogue, he plays in a Lima League, but mainly only in the Lima League, so great to see some Rogue later on in the tournament. Likewise, there's Solar and Shin, who are more regulars, I should say. We're featuring one of them here and now. Here we go. Coming into this, I'll be honest, I favor Zoun. Alright, coming into this, I do favor Zoun. Like, Zoun has been looking very impressive as of late. And I did just mention that typically Solar, he's been thriving in earlier game aggression when it comes to all-ins, when it comes to more aggressive builds, which I do feel like work a little bit less favorably here on this map. But we'll see. I want to believe. I want to believe here in Solar. I want to believe we can make a series out of this. Again, it's going to be a bit of a shorter series in that best of 3 format. Regardless, we're settling in Sandripner, Gate expand into Cybercore into Stargate on the side of Zoun. Stargate is on the way. into Oracle Opener. Now, Zoun has been very fond of Void Ray based play, especially in the start of the year. There it is, Void Ray's on the way. And Zoun's go-to for the first couple of weeks of January, if you remember, was a triple Void Ray opener. Not to go into massive Void Ray, not to rush into Skytoss, but triple Void Ray into a third base, into a fourth base, into Storm was his kind of go-to build of choice, into Charge on Archon, I should emphasize. But that kind of fell by the wayside over the past couple of weeks towards the end of January into February. That build has kind of fallen off from Zoun. Oh, as it looks like we did have a bit of a pause here. Thankfully, everything is okay. And we are now jumping in. Here we go. It's going to be Void Ray into Oracle here from the side of Zoun. Hunts down the Overlord, then does move out. For those who are curious, we are joined by, I believe, Rotterdam is also casting. We're going to be joined by Rex as well. And some of these matches have been played ahead of time. So we are going to be jumping in via a replay cast here. So we're all going to be filing in. I believe Inu is casting Korean and Rex is casting in his own native language as well. So we got Rex, we got Inu, we got Saber, we got Roddy, ourselves. I want to say Ryung is also casting in Korean as well. We got a lot. We got a lot. So we're all filing in. Also, I should have mentioned, as we do go Void Ray Opener into a very fast filing council, is that we won't be able to cast day 2. I mentioned that this is a 2-day event. Day 2 is tomorrow. We won't be able to cover it because we are covering another tournament. We were already kind of like slotted in and we already were committed to another event. Specifically, that is the OSC King of the Hill. So as a result, we won't be able to cover day 2 live. We'll be covering day 2 a couple of days later via replays. That is the plan. Which is a bit of a shame because, again, like everyone's going to be casting day 2 live tomorrow, but we won't be able to. If only I could cast 2 events at the same time. If only, Pappy, if only. But now, though, we do have our initial opener here. We have our lair on the way from Solar. Do I see any tech? No. No Bailey Nest, no Roach War, no nothing here from the side of Solar. Going Evo Chamber into lair. This looks like Ling Hydra into a fast lurker tech. Meanwhile, Lings they get across the map. Ooh, they attempt a run by, but so far Zoun is in position. Does deflect, does deny. Likewise, here we do have Charge on the way. And I mentioned before how we saw, at least at the start of the year, we saw like triple Void Ray openers out of Zoun. That is not the case here. Going for the initial Void Ray into a standard follow-up. I say standard follow-up into a Charge timing. Charge with +1. And of course, Archon production behind this. And Storm. As the Void Ray is on patrol outside of the natural. Queen's going to be waddling in. Zoning back down. Is going to be zoned away. So now we do have our Spire on the way. Oh, the Oracle barely did miss it. Oracle barely did miss it. Going to be 3 drone kills so far. Oh, yeah, 3 workers going to be going down. The Oracle does get zoned back. And so far, I believe Zoun does not scout the tech. And tech has not been scouted. Behind this, we have our High Templar morphing in, gathering energy. No Storm yet. And alas, unfortunately, has yet to really confirm what Solar's up to. Solar did throw down that Roach Horn. If you recall, I had assumed it was going to be a lair into Ling Hydra, but no, it's going to be a lair into Muta. Oh boy. Now, based on the +1 range that we're researching here, I would imagine that Solar, he is not going to commit into mass Muta. It is going to be Roaches on the ground, but enough Mutas to harass. I'm referring to maybe 12 Mutas at most to get across the map. We'll see if Solar commits, or we'll see if he does mainly focus on his ground army instead. Here we go. Oh, as Overseer barely will get away. And yes, as I mentioned before, these matches were played ahead of time. We don't know the results. They were all submitted, and we are going to be casting these matches here and now to you live. Here we go. The reason for it, I believe there was some scheduling conflicts with some of the players and the Wardy event. Basically, Wardy is hosting an event as we speak, so because of scheduling conflicts, they did prioritize, playing these matches out ahead of time to be submitted so they could also play in Wardy's event as well. I believe that's my understanding. as I think Wardy is hosting his like February Invitational. Just as a heads up. And as I mentioned before, day 2 should be casted live tomorrow without any issues. As mutas they have arrived, they do hit the natural. So far, catching out the Phoenix, not bad. One Phoenix does go down, but last no major economic damage yet. So far, Zoun, he did have, oh my god, he did have all the cannons. Mass storm on the mutas. Jesus, calm down. As Solar, he is going to be forced back. Takes a storm to the face. And last that was how many mutas? That was 7 mutas. Good Jesus. 7 mutas going down. Brutal losses here for Solar already. And Zani's breaking out. And Solar, he cannot fight this head on. Not with this many storms, Archons, and Immortals. Yeah, Zani's pushing. Solar scrambling for a defense. If you recall, I had assumed that he was going to be focusing mainly on Roach Ravager, but no, he's making more mutas. He's committing here to more and more mutas. Takes a massive shot to the face. Solar has to retreat. Up. Ooh, as the High Templar is sniped. High Templar barely going to be sniped here. No storm, bit of miscontrol out of Zoun, and with only one High Templar, he backs off. Okay, does back up. Doesn't want to waste that storm. It doesn't want to waste all those lings. Wants to preserve it for the mutas. Ling's going to be forced back. And here we go. The reinforcing High Templar have arrived. And we can see Solar trying to go into mass ling muta here. I'm not too convinced by this. It's just such a fragile army. Massive storm goes off. That's another 5 mutas going down. Ay, ay, ay. 5 mutas do fall. Rock's getting knocked down. Zoun is pushing through. And Solar, he's going to try to engage here, but again, he has to respect the he has to respect the storms. Storm goes up, another storm connects, and yeah, Solar, he cannot touch this. He cannot touch the main army. There's another massive storm. Oh my god. And with that Zoun, he breaks through the defensive line. No storms left though. Uh-oh. No storms remaining. We have 20 roaches in production. And with those roaches, Solar, he can hold on. Yeah, he just needs to buy a little bit more time, and Zoun is being forced back. I say that more. Archons have arrived, and GG gets called. Solar, he's not able to buy time, and Zoun will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Zoun will take a lead in the series. Again, I was a little bit shocked that Solar, he did try to commit into mass muta, and as we saw, mutas, they do not fare well in head-on fights. Like in these frontal engagements, mutas, they struggle desperately so against Storm, against Archons. They do amazingly when it comes to harassing, but yeah, defensively, less so. Or engaging with the main army, less so as well. So we saw Solar's army crumble before our eyes, and with that, Zoun takes the lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. Zoun does take a lead, and now Zoun needs one more. He needs one more game here to take it all and to advance on into the next round. Here we go. As we are getting into that second game, and we'll see if Solar can bounce back. Again, coming into this, I did favor Zoun, especially on some of these larger maps. But I don't know what the vetoes were. I don't know what the ordering of the maps are. So I'm curious if we load into a smaller map instead, which I would favor Solar on. And here we go. Game 2 is going to be on Ley Lines. Okay, so Ley Lines is going to be a smaller map. Likewise, a more aggressive play here from the Zerg side is going to be more favored. I'm referring to 2 base all-ins, 3 base all-ins, 3 base aggression as well. This is where Solar can thrive. Now, we're done with the larger maps. We're loading into the smaller maps instead. And we'll see if Solar can end the game before Zoun can get out of hand and get out of control. Let's go. Let us go. Gamba, sì, papi, sì. Oh, the gamba. Go. Just trying to make sure we get all the casters involved. cost power. Or more just like the weakness of Muta here. Like going Mutas are just really risky. It's a really risky style to go for, just because again it's just a really fragile kind of army composition, assuming that you're going into mass Muta, which we saw just could not really hold a candle to the army that Zoun had before him. So it saw like he was punished. And looks like we have all of our casters in, and now we're getting ready to jump into game number 2. Oh boy. Here we go. Imagine having a 2-2 unit which can't fight. Well, I mean, Solar chose to make them, so... I mean... He knew what he was getting into, Pappy. Here we go. You can hear the beeps. Again, we have our second game coming up. And I'm hoping for an ace match. I'm hoping we can bring it back here and bring it all the way to game 3. Fingers crossed. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force that ace match. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, also from South Korea, leading the series 1-0. Onomas, one more game is all he needs. It is Zoun. We go. Beautiful. And again, welcome one and all to Ley Lines as... Oh, hold on. Arkansas. Beautiful. Welcome one and all to Ley Lines. Ley Lines is going to be a smaller map compared to Abyssal Reef. It's one of the smaller maps in the current map pool. Likewise, rush distance by ground is shorter, as you can imagine, and aggression can be more favored here on this map. I say can be more favored. The third and fourth base is still relatively secure, just because of the ramps, just because of the points of elevation here that you do have available to you to defend and to survive and to kind of hold the line, referring to the ramp here on the right hand side, or even the ramps towards the center of the map as well. So there are a lot of really defendable locations, that is true, but there are also a lot of angles of attack as well. And again, because that shorter rush distance, we have seen some successful Zerg aggression here on Ley Lines, and I'll be honest, I would imagine that's what Solo wants to embrace here. I don't think he wants to head into a longer later game. That isn't really Solo's go-to, is kind of like late game ZvP. He's not like Rogue, for example. Rogue, that's where he thrives. Like Rogue, give him a chance and he will rush into lurkers. Like Rogue, he's all about that lurker tech, all about that lurker play. Solo less so. He can get there, don't get me wrong, but it feels like recently he is more willing to try to end the game earlier if he sees an opportunity to do so. I don't expect to see Mutas again. I don't expect it. Oh god. As Solar, he does sip up a little bit here. Calm down, Bobby. Calm down. As did see a bit of a misclick there in the mineral line. Now is not the time to be slipping up, Bobby. We're up against the wall. We want the ace match. Oh no. Zoun, he's already winning the mental battle. Not like this. Stargate opener back at home. As a reminder, last game, this Stargate opener led into a Void Ray. Led into Charge, led Archon into Storm, as a reminder. Here on Ley Lines, I'm picturing more of a Blink-based follow-up. Oh no, he misplaced it! Oh god, oh no. Solar! We gotta get it together, Pappy. We gotta... Oh god. You can see here resources lost, and you could see the cancellation animation towards the end there. But he did misplace his third base. We saw the misclick in the main as well. Solar a little bit flustered, maybe from that last game. I mean, yo, you know, getting stormed on like that can take its toll on the mental state, of course, 100%. But hopefully we can tighten up. Hopefully we can tighten things up here, getting into game 2. Okay, we can do this. We're okay, Pappy. We're okay. Voider opener once again. Personally, I do really appreciate going Void Ray Opener multiple times in a series, especially if we do deviate from the initial build and do mix it up throughout the course of the series. So I would not be opposed to Void Ray Opener into Blink instead of Charge this time. Just to mix it up and to keep Solar guessing. Speaking of, that is a Twilight Council before the expansion, and as a reminder, last game this led into Fast Charge. This time, I'm picturing Fast Adepts. We'll see though. This could be early Glaive Adepts, this could be early Blink. If we see Blink, it is a safer way to play. The way this works here, if Blink is on the way, is that it finishes up in time for a 2-base all-in. So if Solo goes for a Roach all-in, then Blink would be ready for it. Charge would be more aggressive, Glaives would be more aggressive as well, so we'll keep an eye on Zoun. What's it going to be? As there's no Forge. Ooh, Charge. This is the same build we saw last game. Same build so far. So really early Charge. And again, this leads into Archons, into Storm. Into the same setup that we saw in game 1. So same build 2 games in a row. Zoun pokes in, gets to read what's going on, spots the lair. Just like the previous game, it's going to be a lair before tech, but there we go. Roach Horns on the way. And unlike the previous game, I imagine we're not going for Spire play. We're going to go into Roaches, into Evo Chamber, +1 range, into Roach Hydra. I would imagine. Zoun is going to be setting up. Getting his 3rd base up and running. Charge is completing. He has been banging up these Zealots and he can try to rush across the map. Adepts are revealed here at the 3rd. So far he's hiding his tech. Oh, Tempest around. Unable to. Yeah, Lings are deflected. And so far Zoun doing a great job here keeping his build hidden. And here come those Zealots. And the question is, when will they get spotted? For now, Lings are being kept busy, poking in towards the 3rd base. They miss the Zealot move-outs. And these Charge Zealots, they can shut down that expansion. They can force a cancel, and maybe get more than that. Yeah, Lings are now racing back. Here come those Charge Zealots. The base is going to be denied. Ooh, that was a cancel, thankfully. It's a cancel under the kill. But regardless, very nice attack here from Zoun. Delays the production, delays the expansion, the economy, delays everything here for Solar. And there comes Storm. Meanwhile, Solar is going Roach into Hydra. I mean, that has entirely skipped Roach production for the time being. Did not actually research Roach speed, so just Ling Hydra, but +1 range. And what I'm curious by is Solar going to saturate the 4th base? Now, what I see here is that Solar, he's run up to 74. That is 3.5 base saturation. We have Overlord speed on the way. And I'm curious, I don't see an Infestation Pit. Not yet. If we go a little bit long without a pit, without joining up even further as he's double expanding, he might just commit and double down and push. And go for a Doom Drop. We have seen a lot of drop play out of Solar with a lot of Drop Lords. And that is going to be another option here for our Zerg player. He's been quite fond of them. We'll keep an eye on him. He has more Ling Hydras amassing. Space is almost done. He's not joining up to 80. And he's moving out. Does move out across the map. No Infestation Pit, no Lurker Den, no Hive. And yeah, we mentioned the Doom Drop. There it is. 6 Overlords on the way. 6 Drop Lords on the way. And again, if you've been watching our stream as of late, you will know that Solar's just really fond of this. He's just really fond of Drop Lord play in the mid game. And this is basically an all-in. Again, just to reiterate, there's no further tech here. Whether it's Hive, Lurkers, Ultras, there's nothing else here. He's very committed. Likewise, Zoun, he does push in towards that expansion. And do we go for the base trade? Oh, we split off the army. Tempted to go for a counterattack. The expansion goes down. Zoun is racing back home, and the Drop Lords, they haven't really gotten anything done yet. Solar, he's been out of position. Been pulled left and right. Will catch some of these Zealots, not bad. And the drop lords are spotted. They are spotted. Making their way towards the main. Alas, the army's not quite in position. Peels off the Archons and the Zealots with no storm. And Hydras, they do unload. Speaking of storms, ooh, main army gets deflected. Hydra's gonna be forced. Oh my god! The storms! The storms are crazy! Jesus. We do bleed out little Hydras at the same time, though. The Hydras in the main base, they trade well, and the SimCity was working against Zoun. Zoun, he does want in supply. And he has to make sure he doesn't waste those storms. Once again moving in, but plenty of Ling Hydra reinforcements. Archons are exposed. Storm goes up. And Sully just keeps pushing. Ooh, another storm. And Zoun, he cannot keep pushing in. We'll bleed that an Archon. Two Archons go down. Zoun here overextended. And he's not in the best position here. He bled out a lot of Archons, a lot of High Templar. He's not ready. And Solar's remaxing. And now he's taking. Now we get the Infestation Bit, Lurker Den, and Hive. Now he's taking up. And who do we favor in this position? If Zoun hadn't counterattacked, I would favor Zoun. But again, he did lose a lot of High Templar and Archons in that push. So I want to give the edge here to Solar. Zoun, he has to defend. He has to buy time. And yes, he has been denying this northern base, but Soul doesn't care. He has a southern base. Like, he's still on a 4-base economy. He's still mining. If Zoun had brought down both bases, different story, but wasn't quite able to. And there it is, fleet beacons on the way, working towards Skytos, but Solar should hit with Lurkers first. Storm Grid's up. There is a defensive High Templar here on the left-hand side as well. So far, Zoun is keeping up. Zoun, he defends, but the Lunkers, they're coming! Catches the War Prism. Nicely done here by Solar. Ooh, Zoun, he overextends, he should not be out here. Doesn't I some of these morphing and Lurkers on the right-hand side? Not bad. And forces a reaction, forces a response. Solar coming in for the surround. And Zoun is here overextending. High Templar exposed. Solar coming in from behind. He's collapsing the army. High Templar, they're running out. No more storms, but the Hydras are exposed. Zealots, they charge in. And Zoun, he's done it. He breaks through. GG gets called. The Lurkers are not ready. And Zoun will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Against Solar, he was pretty all in. He was pretty committed when it came to his massive Dune drop into the main. Did some damage, but not quite enough. And we saw at the end there, he needed a little bit more time for those Lurkers. He had 0 Lurkers to defend. And without Lurkers, he has nothing. He has nothing to defend, nothing to hold on. He got completely steamrolled there. And Zoun takes the series. GG. GG, well played. Zoun, he will claim the series, will advance on into the next round. And Solar, he is knocked out of LiuLi Cup.